Shabbat Shalom. This morning we have a portion called Vaera, and he appeared. And it's the Creator who appears to Moshe Rabbeinu, to Aaron, and is going to talk to them. And we already has come to the portion in which he revealed himself with the name the Yud, He, Ba, He. And this, with this name, he said, I made myself known to you, but not to your forefathers. And when you read in this way, sometimes could be misleading if you do not understand what he is saying about, I made myself known in this way or in the other way. Because the word to know implicate not only about that you have heard about somebody, but really the term Yodea, to know, is about to have an intimate relationship. And I made myself in such a way that you're going to see who really I am. With the forefathers, with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he became himself as El Shaddai. You know, and El Shaddai God brings to you, even that is translated as all powerful, all caring, all superior, really brings an idea about he's a nurturer. You know, in many ways, he's like a mother to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, the word shad comes from the word, from the root that means breast. You know, breastfeeding is nurturing a baby. But now is going to deal with them in a way that they are going to see how he acts, how he works directly. And they are going to have a very, very clear understanding of his actions and how he works. Here is a presentation of almost a competition between two gods. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the God of the Egyptians. Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron, his brother, they are only spokespersons for Adonai, for Hashem, for our Lord. You know, for the tetragrammaton, you, head, bad, head. Some people call it Yehovah. Sometimes we do not know exactly the pronunciation, but that is the term. And he is going to manifest himself through them. He's going to talk through Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron. And who is going to represent the gods of the Egyptians? Pharaoh himself, who in the eyes of the Egyptians and the eyes of many, or almost the known world at that time, he was a god or a type of god. And this was going to be basically to show the world about who is the real God. And here he's going to present himself in a way that the Israelites will recover a little bit of their lost hope. And from the other side, it's going to teach Pharaoh a little bit of being humble, if he could be humble. No, he didn't know. When you have grown up in a status in which you think you are the center of the universe, you know, sometimes you need some kind of exercise done to you to lower you down from your position. From the other side, you see here, Israel here in the bottom and Egypt in the top. What the Creator is doing is to put both side by side. And then we are going to deal with the issues. You know, and he's going to show them that is the character of the person who is going to define all of this through our Creator. Sometimes we forget something, and especially when you have a religion or you have your God. And many people think, my God is only for me. You know, it's not your God, it's not the God of anybody. But the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the God of creation, is the Borei Olam. And he is the only God. There is no other God beside him. Then, believe me or not, he has created Israel as much as he has created Chinese people, he has created the Japanese, the Arabs, and all the people in the world. Because he's the God of everybody. And each one of us, we are his children. That sometimes it's difficult to accept that because some of us, we have such hate among each other. Now how we can say that we belong to the same family? But our God is the God of all. And then it's going to put the balance, it's going to show them, and it's also going to show something. Why he has chosen Israel. No, in you go to chapter 9, on the 7th plague of this portion, and verses, I'm going to read from verse 13 down. He said, the Yehovah head then says to Moses, get up early in the morning and confront Pharaoh, and say to him, Yehovah head, God of the Hebrews, say this, let my people go and worship me. For this time I am going to inflict all my plagues on you, on your officials, and on your subjects, so that you will know, listen carefully, you will know that there is no one like me in the whole wide world. Okay? He's unique. Had I stretched out my hand to strike you, your subjects, with pestilence, and you would have been swept from the earth. But I have let you survive for this reason, to display my power to you and to have my name talk throughout the world. More clear couldn't be. What is the reason of all of this? Have you ever think, if we have such a powerful God, why in 1 second didn't move all Israel back to the promised land and left Egypt crying out that they disappeared? Why? Why he needed to wait so, or why he didn't inflict it to Pharaoh or kill Pharaoh in 1 second? Why he needed to go through all these things? You know, you need to understand that in the Torah, it is a way of teaching and principles that we learn. These narratives, these stories, are for us to learn certain basic principles in life. One of the things that the Creator gave us to us, and you have heard me talking over and over again. Do you remember what I say when I say Bechira Hofshi? Free will. He gave it to all of us, the capability, free will. To the point that in my personal understanding, the Creator limits himself to us to give us the possibility to exercise our own will. In this portion looks like just the opposite. When he deals with Pharaoh, in 9:12, he say that he basically, but the Lord made Pharaoh stubborn, and the Lord has foretold to Moses that he did not listen to them. This idea that he is taking away our free will could conduct us to a misunderstanding. And what is this misunderstanding? Well, I am totally under God's will. No? And for that reason, whatever I do is his fault. And most of the people who they have some kind of beliefs in their God, basically they're holding on their God to blame their God for any circumstances that they happen. I have had experience to talk to certain people, of my own people. Some people who survived the Shoah, that we have celebrated the 75-year anniversary this last week. Some of the survivors became anti-God because they say, if there is a God, why he allowed this happen to us? What we don't understand, it is because our God has given us the Hirachoshiv, has allowed human beings to do things even to the point of self-destruction. I'm going to give you another comparison. I have worked for many years as a counselor in areas of CDU, Center of Dependency Unit, people that they have certain addictions. I have been a counselor there. In my experience, I have met many people who has come and they are there for help. And some of them, they will say to me, I realize I cannot do it by myself. I need help. And usually those people, at the end, they are going to go to a better situation. But I also have encountered with people that say to me, I don't know what am I doing here. They have told me to come here, but I don't have any problem. I can take care of myself anytime that I want it. I can stop anytime that I want it. And they get harder and harder and harder. Pharaoh was so full of himself. Have you know anybody who thinks that he's better than anybody else? Have you met anybody that you're trying to give an advice and he look at you like you are insulting them? Because who do you think I am? I have a little brain? Have you seen those people that they're so full of themselves that they look at everybody down? Have you seen those people that are so full of pride that they cannot admit anything wrong in them? Everybody does wrong, but they are the only one that they do right. Tell me one question. How are you going to take care of these people? How are you going to make them to understand? You think that you can make a brain surgery, make a hole, and put a Bible inside their heads? Do you think that they are going to change? Sometimes circumstances make us change because make us think. I told you, when we go through difficult times, that's when finally we start thinking or looking for the other places and looking for help. Here at the beginning of this parasha, we have the beautiful tradition for us when we celebrate Passover. You know? And it's the process about, I'm going to take you out of the hard labor. I'm going to save you from you. I'm going to redeem you. And then you are going to be my people. I'm going to make you mine. The 4 cups that we take. And you know, it is more difficult to get out of the what I call it emotional or spiritual slavery from the physical slavery. Physical slavery is very easy to see it. They're giving hard time. They're putting over to me. It's too much for me. I cannot take it anymore. But at the spiritual, the emotional slavery is covered up. It's covered up supposedly with good intentions. That's what creates dependency. Fear to to change the status quo. What is going to happen to me? I am not capable to take care of myself. How you ask yourself why there are so many countries or so many big countries or nations that they are under a dictator, they are under somebody who exploit them, and very little or nothing, or they don't question anything, and they become so dependent. Even here in the free countries, it's growing and growing, this idea of politicians that are telling you, don't worry, we take care of you. Give me your life, give me your money, and give me everything. I take care of you. And you know what? How many of us will like the idea? Why? Because we cannot be responsible of ourselves. It's easier that somebody take care of me instead of I take care of myself and my family. That's a dependency. And that is what I call it spiritual emotional dependency. And this is the hardest one to get rid of. Now, what is the Creator when He is setting Israel free from Pharaoh? Is only freeing Israel from Egypt, or He's freeing Egypt from Pharaoh too? But when we are tunnel vision, we have a problem to see the whole perspective because only we see one side. And constantly we are challenged to look the whole picture, not to be tunnel vision. What is these teachings for us today? Because I have been telling you that we have been, for 40 years, I have been going through all these parashas. Every year I go. But at this year I say, I would like to ask ourselves and to challenge ourselves how we can look these scriptures that we can appropriate to us and that benefit us and we can apply in our lives. What the Creator has for us with this story of Egypt and getting out of slavery is trying to tell us today. Have you asked yourself at this moment, and this simple question, I am attached to something? There is something that I cannot let it go? There is something in my life that without that I cannot live? I need to have that. Because I am not talking in a very subtle way. When we look about slavery, we think it's only about superficial or big things. But there are very subtle slaveries that we don't realize. Status quo, my image, my name, the way that I am. And what about other things? Are you taken by something? Because you see, like I said to you, I have worked as an addiction counselor. You know, do you have an addictive personality? Do you are limited because you have so many fears in your life? You live under the covering of superstition over your head. You are afraid to move a finger if the signs are okay. They are not okay. How many of us we need to read our horoscope to see if this morning I'm going to walk okay? How many of us believe under certain circumstances or situations are full of fear? are truly free. Slavery is very subtle. It's little by little, and it's erasing your capability of your own self-decisions. And you don't realize, because it's little by little. When I used to do counseling with people that they have certain addictions, I start with them coming to the beginning. How did you start it? You know, the most common is when those addict to cigarettes. When did you start it? Well, at the beginning, always, it's almost 100% of the people, I say almost, 99.9. They say, everybody was doing, they gave me, I start. And I didn't like it. It was horrible. But then, they look at me like, whoa, you are sissy for the men, or you, woman, you are not like, you are not in the game or whatever. Then I started smoking, and then at the beginning I didn't like it, then I started accepting. Then little by little, and suddenly became a habit. And then I say to myself, oh, I'm going to leave it whenever I want it. It has passed years and years, and they're still thinking they can leave it whenever I want it. And you ask, oh, why you don't leave it now? Well, it's still okay. And it's killing the person. We need to understand that is the process of Pharaoh that the Creator is teaching us today. You become stubborn, obstinate, and you continue doing it and doing it and doing it until a moment that you have lost completely your capability to change. And you're doomed. How many of us we are still in the threshold of the possibility to change? And we insisted, I can do it whenever I want to. And always changes need to be now. Cannot wait until the next day. If you are clear and you have realized that there is something in your life that needs to be changed, don't say, I want to think about it. Don't say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Because tomorrow never comes. You need to do it today. And the Creator showed Israel and showed the Pharaoh, I'm going to free you. But I'm not to make you my slave. Neither to make you a slave for other people. I'm going to free you in order that you become yourself, because I make you to my likeness and image. You have the divine sparkling in you. And I want from now on, exercise the Hirah of free will in the right way, that is going to take you to the idea of being responsible for your own actions. What most of the religion they teach you? Don't worry. Do as much as you do wrong. The only thing that you need to say mea culpa, or throw your bad things to somebody else. Somebody else is going to pay for your problems. What the Torah teach you? You do it, you pay for it. Nobody likes that. Somebody needs to pay for my own mistakes. And that's true. Sometimes somebody else pays for your mistakes, plus you pay for other mistakes. And look at to the point of Pharaoh, and look at ourselves. The obstinate will, that what we call it stubbornness. What it take you? What it make you? very selfish. Selfish. Why? You think only about you, not about your people. His own people say, please, let it go. Please, we already know you are defeated. You are wrong. Let's say to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh hardened his heart. He didn't care what happened to the rest of the people. You know, finally, we are going to see in the next portion, where we are going to see that finally, he realized. Why? Because fall on himself. When you are going to awake, when you are going to open your eyes, when we are going to open our eyes about to see the areas in ourselves that we are not doing right. Why we continue this lie sometimes? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I don't need to do anything. That is going to pass. Because from Behirah Hoshi, what is the next that comes? Kavanah. The intention. You can be the most righteous person in the world, holier than thou, better than anybody else. And the Creator is not impressed by that. The Creator is not impressed about how serious you are with your religiosity. You cannot impress the Creator. Why? Because He can read your heart. He knows exactly what is inside you. He knew the heart of Pharaoh. He knew the intention of Pharaoh. Do you think he didn't know that Pharaoh, once they say, well, I'm going to let it go, he was going to change his mind? Constantly change his mind, change his mind, change his mind. You think the Creator didn't know that? If he didn't know that, he cannot be the Creator. But again, why he allowed so much? We have 10 plagues to give us an indication about there's a totality, a fullness. And each plague has a relationship with one of the gods of Egypt. And he was defeating one after the other, after the other, after the other. With us, when we have it, and teach you to have a relationship with the Creator, and when we open up to Him, what He does is look within ourselves. And He's going to show you us the areas that we need to change or to improve. What do you think? To me, I keep telling you over and over again, read Psalm 139. And please apply 23 and 24. Search me, O God, and look within me. And see if there is something there that it is hidden to me. And show me, in order that I don't keep doing it anymore and I can be closer to you. You know why? Because we are the best liars to ourselves. We lie to ourselves so good that we believe our own lies. And they become a reality. That we need to wake up. And we need to be free. And we need to stop being a slave of ourselves. A slave of ourselves. What do you mean that? Our egos, our pride. And when we arrive to the point when light comes to us and it starts showing us, let me tell you, we become the best that we can be. Because we cannot any longer to look by appearances, to live by appearances. What you see, what you get. No more, no less. Yes, I have my faults. Yes, sometimes I do things wrong. Yes, I commit mistakes. Yes, sometimes I lose my temper. Yes. The only one that doesn't lose his temper in this community is Mildred. Everybody else loses temper.
And she can't.
That's the reason. You see? But you know.
You're the only one who doesn't lose her temper.
and we are now at I call it the threshold. I always say, you know, I love the book of Exodus, Shemot, because tell us about our own life, our own growing, building of a nation, building of a person. And we go to the process of being childish, being like a children, not childish, childlike, and keep growing, and we go the process of growing. But who are the ones that they never grow? Who are the ones that can never change? I call it the Pharaoh types. That you never do anything wrong, or you can never admit that you have done anything wrong. Those they cannot grow. Those who they don't give themselves a space to see themselves and to see and to say, you know what? I have not been doing right here. I need help or I need to change. We need to do that. I am so grateful when I read these portions. It's about how obstinate I can be to lose my capability to think for me. I cannot do the best for me because I am so self-destructive. And when you start thinking that you are the center of the universe, as Pharaoh, you are in the wrong place. When you start thinking more in yourselves than others, there is something wrong with you. When you think the only thing important in this world is you, there is something wrong there. Because you lose perspective of others. And we need each other. And we need to help each other. And sometimes a little doses of humbleness could help us to grow. To admit sometimes that not everything that I do is right. To accept that we have failures. Because accepting that we have failures gives us the opportunity to correct it and to do better. I always say it this way. They're going to give you two examples. One is the one that the person say, you know, that has never had a mistake in their life. And because they have never committed a mistake in their life, they don't have capability to learn. They cannot learn because they don't do anything wrong. And we have too many perfectionists that they cannot learn doing anything wrong because they cannot do anything. And the other one is the application of physics. I love that example over and over. I repeat it to you. To go from the elasticity to plasticity to rupture. The Creator give us and make us, all of us as human beings, to live in elasticity. What it means that we are like elastic. We can be pull, but then come back to our form. Yeah. But when you become obstinate, when you become stubborn, you pass from elasticity to plasticity. And what happened with plasticity? You can never ever come back to your state that you started. And the final thing about plasticity, when you keep pulling on from both sides, can the breaking point, and you are broken. And that's what happened to Pharaoh. Went to the state of brokenness. I want to tell you something. I don't want any of us to get to that point. I wish that all of us we still in the field of elasticity, that we can still see our areas that we need changes and we need improvements, and that we can return to our place where we are. Because once you go to plasticity, there is no way back. May the Lord bless you and have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.